If you're looking for a way to get your fire started, check out procamptech.com. They've got fat rope stick, fire strip roll, and more. Check them out, procamptech.com. Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today we're looking at this, which is a portable fire pit. I would call it a camp stove, but it's really more of a fire pit than anything. It's made by a company called Lifedoo, and yeah, it's 4 pieces. You put it together. I'll show you how to do that, and then we're going to test it out to see how it actually works. So here's what it looks like. You have 4 pieces, these 2 side pieces, and then these 2 side pieces. Once it's put together, you can pick it up and carry it pretty easily. You got handles there for here and here as well. It's about 2 feet by 1 foot, and it's about 1.5 feet deep. There is a very small crack on the bottom, just to show you that right there. And so I would say it's about 1/3 of an inch to maybe, not even 1/2 inch, probably about 1/3 of an inch wide. That's supposed to allow for airflow. Let me show you really quick how to basically put this thing together. So you disassemble it by pulling out this side and then this side. Then you got 4 individual pieces, and to put it together you basically slide the long piece in to these support pieces. That's what it looks like when it's all together. So the real question for me as far as functionality is, will there be enough airflow to allow the fire to burn efficiently? Now it does have that tiny crack on the bottom there. So if you're gonna set this up, you know, like on a front lawn or something, yes, it'll keep the fire from being off the lawn, but you wanna put probably like one of those recyclable baking trays that you would use for like a turkey, something like that. Put that underneath to catch any ashes that would slip through. So I've got some paper here. We're gonna get a fire set up in it, and then we'll see how the lighting process goes, but really the long-term burning process is what I'm thinking about more. Will it allow airflow so it can burn effectively? Okay, so I got a little bit of dry paper in the bottom, and then some hemlock branches, and then just some dead branches here. So we'll light the paper, and then we'll basically see the efficiency of the burn here. So my initial thought is that because it's, you know, longer as opposed to wider, you got to be pretty strategic in how you angle the wood that you put in, because it's going to naturally want to fall this way. You got to make sure that you're basically crisscrossing the wood so that it's not killing your airflow. So you can see I've got a pretty small piece that I'm going to lay. I tried to lay it across, but it fell back into that the natural way most of the wood seems to want to fall, kind of angled down in. So we'll just try to crisscross some of this other wood as we put it in here. We'll also keep an eye about what's happening down below as far as the airflow, and also what's falling out of the bottom. Once we got past that initial cluster of dead wood to start, seems like it's burning a little bit more efficiently now even. So I had a buddy who does, you know, quite a bit of outdoor stuff, particularly fishing, and he had one like this, and he said that it wasn't very efficient as far as the how the wood burned, because there wasn't good airflow. But I can tell you right now, I don't know if it's just that tiny little crack on the bottom or what, but this is, I mean, it's definitely putting out a nice little fire. You might be able to hear some of the sizzling. That's because it's been wet and rainy and snowy here in New Hampshire, like it always is in the winter. But yeah, I mean, so far so good. It's a nice little controlled fire with this thing. So one thing about the size of the wood I want to mention is that, I mean, this is what we're looking at for your average size piece of wood, you know, for a larger piece, I would say, so far. So you're looking at about, you know, 2 feet, and it's maybe 1 inch across. So it's not big, hefty, you know, wood you're going to get at your local, you know, gas station where they have, you know, a small bundle of wood you'd bring to use at a campfire. You definitely need some smaller wood to rock this thing. It's starting to get a bed of coals now, and so I'm going to let that burn for a little bit, and then I'm going to try to put some larger wood on it just to see how that works. All right, this piece of wood right here and this one right here, those are definitely oversized for this little outdoor fire pit. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's definitely still putting out a nice amount of heat, and yeah, it's working well. We are a solid half hour into testing out this fire pit, and yeah, it's working well. I mean, even those oversized pieces of wood, I guess they're right up to the max size, I guess I would say, for this this size portable fire pit. It's working great. Definitely not a ton of smoke, even though some of the wood is a little bit damp, and putting out some good heat. Definitely want to be careful not to try to pick up the stove right after you, you know, when you want to get the fire done with, just because you're going to burn yourself. That thing's going to be hot. So here's what I've discovered is that these two bigger logs, they're still burning because they're larger. And all the other pieces that have burned down, they're basically filling up the crack. There's not really much that's falling out the bottom. So it's similar to, you know, your standard fire pit in the ones you would like buy at Home Depot or Lowe's, in that, you know, they don't usually have a way for a ton of air to come in through the bottom. It still is putting out a nice amount of heat and everything's burning well. But that crack on the bottom probably will help things get started as far as a little bit more airflow, but eventually that's going to fill up. I was afraid that there'd be lots of ash and stuff falling out the bottom, but that's pretty much filled up, that little crack on the bottom. So yeah, but it's still working well. And like I said, nice amount of heat that's coming out. And when it's all said and done, you know, let it cool down. You can disassemble it, and then you don't have to worry about carrying around some huge portable fire pit. So honestly, I don't have enough time to let this fire totally burn down, take the whole thing apart, just because it's burning well, and I got some other stuff I got to get to. So I'm gonna let it kind of burn down a little bit more, and then I'll throw some snow on it. But anyhow, yeah, efficiency. It's definitely it's burning wood well. Let me talk about some of the functionality, and as far as, like, you know, who this might be for. I would not call this a survival item or a bushcraft item necessarily, unless you're going to bring it out to a bushcraft like camp, where you don't want to put a fire on the ground and you're going to leave it there. It weighs about 20 pounds total. So as far as for car camping, or having, you know, like, hey, we want to have a little fire in our backyard, but I don't want to burn up the yard, then you could definitely use this thing in that way. Now, to be candid with you, my buddy who had a similar one, not the same company, but one of those portable fire pits, he said it didn't work that well, so I was pretty skeptical going into testing it out, but it works great. I was thinking about something like this for my own backyard, for the kids, you know, making s'mores and stuff like that when we can't get out into the woods. So yeah, I think that's what I'll be using it for. Like I said, 20 pounds. It's not something you're going to be hauling around in a backpack on a regular basis, but definitely quite usable. Price point for this is right around 60 bucks. I'll put a link down below in the description section. For 60 bucks, if you want a portable camp stove and you don't want something, like I said, that you can get at Home Depot or Lowe's that's really big and not made to be transported around, this is something I would definitely check out. Those are going to be, you know, more like something you buy and you keep it in your backyard forever. But if you're going to the beach, or you're going to a couple different places, going to a friend's house, and you want to have a little, not a camp stove, but a fire pit, this could be one that's worth checking out. The durability is there. It didn't come with like a little carrying pouch or something. I would like that. It just came in the cardboard box. So I would like to see them send an additional, like, you know, something durable. You could throw a strap on it, throw it over your shoulder so you can carry it around a little bit easier. But as far as the functionality of the actual fire pit, works great. And yeah, it's cool to have. So let me hear your thoughts on this one in particular, but also just, you know, portable fire pits in general. Do you like them? Do you not like them? What do you think about them? Have you used them? Let's get that conversation started. Thanks as always for checking out the videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.